Good evening, warm welcome to the participants. Today we are going to see one more important topic which is contributed by the purchasing and which can also improve the inventory optimization process. We will see some of the contracts which can help us in optimizing our inventory, but we have to see which contract is suitable on which occasion and what type of item can be used for a particular type of a contract. Okay, so though this is managed by purchasing professional, this has an impact on supply chain performance, and many times a great influence is going to come from the supplier performance to maintain the overall performance of the supply chain. So we will take a introduction on this. Maybe I will link up with my screen now. Just give me a few seconds so that you can see the screen. So the screen has come up. You are able to see the screen as well as me. So thanks for coming online. Before starting the topic, I will briefly introduce to me. Hope you are connected with me if you are already seeing it in LinkedIn, and some of you are joining from YouTube and Facebook channel. You are welcome to connect to me. This is my LinkedIn profile. I can be searched with the keyword supply chain master. And regarding my profile, I am a BE MBA with the PG diploma in data science. I have nearly 2.5 decades experience in working with this large organization. In fact, I have started my career with Bosch, where I was working for 16 years, and I have been handling various function within the supply chain, including purchasing. During this period, I have in-depth knowledge, practical knowledge on each of this aspect. In the last 10 years of my professional career, I was heading the supply chain in this multinational organization. Last 4 years, I am heading this consulting and training organization known as Thoughtware Training Private Limited. As far as my certification is concerned, I am a core supply chain professional with interest in purchasing or supply. You can see my certification from Apex and Demand Driven Institute. If you are a purchase professional, maybe what is interesting could be from a certification from ISM, which they were giving us CPM. CPM means Certified Purchasing Manager, but now that is replaced with CPSM, Certified Professional in Supply Management. And if you are in job market, this type of globally recognized certification is a must now. Okay, coming to our organization, we are nearing to 5 years in after establishment, and I am heading this organization. We provide training and consulting in the domains of supply chain, purchasing, and related domains. We operate with the trade name Expert SEM. We provide many short-term job-oriented programs which are called Executive Certificate and Executive Diploma Program. in supply chain and allied domains. Now we have launched a program on sourcing analyst, which combines as a domain knowledge along with analytical applications. We will see some of this aspect as we progress further. Also, we provide global certification training. Coming to the contracts, there are various forms of contract depending upon the requirement, and possibly you have to take care of ultimate customer request. Now, earlier traditional way of working was focusing mainly on the cost, but time is changing, and now the customer wants things differently. In fact, more than cost, now the time has overridden everything. So when you're seeing from your vendors, you have to see, apart from cost, how you can also optimize the delivery time, lead time, which can impact our inventory management and control. But some of this contract either focuses on cost or something on time, but you have to see a blend which can give the benefit to the organization. Coming to one of the popular contract term is buyback contract. Seller agrees to buy back unsold goods from the buyer for some agreed upon price. Maybe he is teasing the buyer to buy more, but here seller is taking more risk, but the buyer has the incentive to buy more. There are advantages and disadvantages here for the buyer in terms of inventory management. He need not worry about non moving goods which he can return to the vendor, but of course he cannot give back at the same cost in which it is procured. But still it can optimize the inventory. So if the supplier, the risk definitely increases. You may have to see which product, which supplier is willing to provide this type of a option. But generally it increases the buyer's order quantity, and thereby decreases the likelihood of out of stock conditions, and compensates the supplier for higher risk in terms of better business. There is a second form of contract called revenue sharing contract. Okay, buyers shares some of its revenue with the supplier in return for a discount on the wholesale price. So you have to see where this type of contract can be done with the vendors. Here, what happens? The buyer is transferring the portion of revenue from each of the units sold back to the supplier. So possibly there the risk is shared by both the people, and that could be a welcome move. Coming to the quantity flexibility contracts, there are some options available, like supplier provides full refund for the return or unsold item. Here you may see the case of online e-commerce platform where they are willing to return you the money provided you give back them items in 7 days, 10 days. And this is working point for them because they are promoting that as a tool for attracting the customer. So if it can happen in B2C environment, why it cannot be implemented in B2B environment? This can also be mutually beneficial with some added risk for the seller, because buyer can be biased. He may sell item which is fast moving, which is more profitable, because this type of item anyhow a seller is going to take back this item. Okay, so as long as number of returns is no larger than a certain quantity, of course they are going to fix a limit. Okay, Anyone live, if you need any further clarifications, you can always type in the comments. I am watching your comments. And also our staffs are available. If you need their contact, you can see at the end. Maybe they are also going to display their contact details. If you need any clarification or doubts on our program, you are always welcome to connect with us. Coming to the next type of a contract is a sales rebate contract. Here you are pushing the buyer to sell more item, thereby offering a better discount after a certain quantity is sold, or possibly we are going to fix a slab, different slab. Here, seller is trying to promote higher sales by offering more rebate when the buyer sells more. Okay, it provides some type of a direct incentive to the retailer to increase sales by means of a rebate paid by the supplier for any item above a certain quantity. Maybe this is working fine in the retail environment. Okay, coming to the buyback contract, here buyer agrees to pay some agreed upon price for any unit produced by the manufacturer but not purchased. Here, possibly the buyer is reserving capacity at the vendor side. So possibly, many times the forecast is not working fine, but this way the capacity development is also becoming fine, because the buyer says he is going to pay the money if he is not picking the item, possibly at some price which is may not be the actual buy price. So the seller can build his capacity according to this, and the manufacturer or seller here as the incentive to produce more unit depending upon the slab in which buyer has given contract. Here the buyer's risk clearly increases. Here you have seen, because he has committed a certain volume to the seller. Any of the participant, any questions? Are you able to follow? Can you please type in the comment? That is the only medium where we can interact, because you may not have cannot reach me by participating in the event, but always you are welcome to type your comment. Any of purchasing professional participating live in this program, can you comment? Have you used any of this type of contract in your real life situations? Okay, we will continue. Mr. Ray says it's going excellent. Good. Thanks for encouragement. I hope others are also from the purchasing or supply chain domain. We will see some more type of contract, something called cost sharing contract. Here, manufacturer is willing to reveal the production cost, and the buyer is willing to share such type of requirement with the manufacturer. So the participation or partnership is increasing here, but the risk could be the seller is not interested in revealing the details of production cost. So this type of contract may be possible with your sister concern or subsidiaries. Otherwise, more level of transparency is required in this type of contracts. Okay, so possibly it could incentivize manufacturer or the seller to produce more units because somebody is sponsoring it and taking the risk jointly. And coming to next format could be capacity reservation contract. We have seen earlier one format, because this becomes essential in terms of forecast. Many time you depend upon the buyers to provide some forecast for your own capacity management, but many times the forecast is not reliable. Maybe it is an inflated forecast, and he is just trying to reserve the capacity without being realistic. This happens many times. That's where you can also insist some type of a capacity reservation contract, in which buyer pays to reserve certain level of capacity in supplier, and you can provide always a menu of prices for different capacity reservations. Okay, different slab can be provided at different rates. Of course, by doing so you are going to get a better forecast. You are sure that the buyer is going to order this item. This way you can avoid some type of uncertainty in your capacity management. Possibly here it helps the seller in terms of having a better forecast, but on the buyer side it the risk is more. So there are compromise or trade-off which we have to see in each of the contract, depending upon whether you are a buyer or a seller, and what angle you are looking, whether you are looking in terms of shortage, or you are looking in terms of cost, or you are looking in terms of time. There is one more contract called advance purchase contract. Here it's a slightly different form compared to previous version. Yes, supplier charges a special price, means a lower price before building the capacity. Possibly here supplier is trying to build his capacity. So he says, if you are coming in advance, I can offer a special price, something like a early bird price, which you use in the retail terms. Okay, when the demand is realized and then somebody is coming, the price will be different. Usually it is higher. So this motivates the buyer to come in advance and book the reservation. Okay, which also means that forecast may have a better accuracy, because the buyer will do some research before making any advance purchase contract. So you may have to explore various possibilities, because even if you are not doing any of this format, you may explore so that it can be beneficial in to your organization, specifically in terms of improving supply chain performance. Okay, there are also some type of non-strategic components, which specifically here we can talk about commodity management, where there can be lot of suppliers in the market, and usually the market condition dictates the price. You can take any commodity like power, steel, or cement, coal, could be there where market dictates the price. So buyer has a lot of choice in choosing the item and change them as the needed. Possibly long term contract was there earlier, but for this type of commodity nowadays, when people doesn't go for long term contract, they may go for flexible contract or spot buys. Okay, so recent trend is towards more flexible in purchasing. You are not going to make a higher commitment, but you definitely read some long term contract if you want a stable supply from your vendors, especially for some base elements. We will see what exactly base stock level. These are also called forward or fixed commitment contract. Here, the contract specify the fixed amount of supply to be delivered at point in future. Here, we are seeing some type of a edging. In the finance market, also they edge the currencies. Currency is fluctuating frequently, and if you are a great importer and you feel in the coming months the exchange is going to increase, and it's a disadvantage as an importer, then you can do something called edging. Okay, you are going to reserve the price of exchange rate at the current level by paying some commission to the bankers. Same way you can also do such a thing for the commodities, especially you know that the price of this item is going to increase, so you are going to fix the price at the current level by paying some advance or a commission. And here the buyer bears no financial risk, but he takes a huge inventory risk because demand is varying in this condition. Any doubts or any clarification? Can the participant type in the comments? Have you been using this type of edging contract in your organization? Is it beneficial? You can always type in the comments. So coming next, there is something called portfolio contracts. When you're investing in stock market, portfolio is one way to better manage your investment into the stock market, where your agent says some portion of your investment is invested in low risk, low return type of investment, whereas there is some portion of your investment is done in a high risk, high return area, so that overall returns is always better than investing in any one side. Same way you can also do some type of a contract, maybe with the same vendor you can have a different contract. Something is for a base levels requirement, you can give a long term contract, a low price, high volume, but something on a options basis, possibly some quota of your purchase at the options level, where you are going to reserve the capacity, and balance you are going to go to the stock spot market to buy any additional requirement. Okay, something similar to the stock market, we are trying to use it in the portfolio, in the purchasing. Okay, buyer signs multiple contract at the same time to optimize the expected profit and reduce the risk. Something similar like a stock market. Okay, here the contract will differ in price and the level of flexibility, hedge against inventory shortage, spot price risk, meaningful for commodity markets. A large pools of suppliers available, but for me the classification can be done in terms of base inventory, where you're certain the demand is going to be there. There you can go for some long term contract and fix a lower price. And the next level could be maybe 30 to 40%. Base level could be around 50 to 60% of your purchases could be a base level, where you can go for a long term contract. And the next 20 to 30% could be options. Okay, you are reserving the capacity in advance with the supplier, but you are taking a risk assuming that demand is going to come. This is a better choice. The next one could be a spot purchase, which means balance 10 to 20%. You are going to go in the last moment to the market, Of course, the risk is high that material is not available. Maybe the price is high in such situation, but always you are taking a minimum risk in terms of inventory. I have seen many organizations using this portfolio contract for with the major vendors, and for the same vendor, we are going to have this type of different portfolios. Maybe in such situation, you should also discuss with the planner how much could be the confirmed demand, and second level maybe a chance 50-50%. And when there is more uncertainty, you can cover it with the spot purchase. Okay, so these are various types of contract. In fact, in our program, we discuss with the case studies how we are going to manage this type of contract in a practical case, and where really you can apply it them. Coming to the job market, if you are in the job market, really now the employers are looking specifically to two important skill, and there is only one way, and that way is only to upskill. There is no other second way to do it, because the market is becoming dynamic, and directly buyers are responsible to answering the customer. Now they have changed their expectation, and rapidly it is evolutionizing the market, especially you see B2C environment. They are working in q commerce, quick commerce, 30 minutes delivery. So why it cannot be adopted in B2B market along with cost priority? So you should know what are the techniques available in the market. Now, coming to the job market, essentially the skill for procurement professional is you should have analytical skill. Possibly, if you are working in a small or medium scale organization, you may be using Excel to some extent, but Excel is powerful only to the extent that you provide a limited data. But if you see a large organization, especially e-commerce company, they do millions of transaction in a week, in a day basis, millions of transaction. That time you need additional skill. Excel alone may not be sufficient. And for the job market, one more global certification is required. We will see briefly these two skills, why they are required. If you are in the job market, why I should do it? Because employers prefer them, especially in terms of analytics. I have taken some of the job posting in the recent times. Even you can search in the Indeed, they have given something called procurement operation analyst, this position from HP. So now the designation are changing. They are calling the position as a analyst, not as a executive. In fact, I have seen this at all the levels, not only at the entry level. Even the mid level is called analytical position, analytical manager. So it is growing all across the market, because they are looking to improve the efficiency in operation by way of using data analytics, so that you can derive the benefit, especially when you want to attempt a job in large organization. You can see one more posting which is from Boeing. Here we are, I am just taking through only the titles. You can see associate procurement analyst, so analyst role. Possibly a bank also looking for a person with the inventory analytics knowledge. You can see how the titles are changing now. Second aspect, we were seeing that you also need some global certification. Don't go for local certification, which is not required by the employers. Mainly the multinational companies which provide highest salaries, they look for global certification. One of the global certification is from ISM. So they provide something called CPSM, Certified Professional in Supply Management. You can also Google up ISM, you will get this certification. Okay, you get training as well as certification. I do some type of a training, though I am not directly concerned with ISM. I provide support in terms of training. Okay. The other possible global training is there is an organization called SIPS, which is a UK based organization. They provide both in terms of certificate and diplomas, and they have a different levels going up to level 6 depending upon your requirement. All this you can Google up, you can get the response. You can see these type of requirement from employers who look for some certification. For example, this is calling for a commodity analyst. They are looking specifically for a CPM. You can also see that these requirements are interchanging among supply chain and procurement professional. If you are a planning guy, you are more welcome in purchasing. So the certification here in this organization, they are looking either for a CPAM or CPSM, which we saw earlier. And there is one more organization called Suyas is looking for CPM. That's what is the designation I hold, which is known as Certified Purchasing Manager. But now that is replaced with CPSM. Okay. And Ernst and Young, they are also looking for CPSM. So nowadays, if you are looking for a job in good organization, especially multinational organization, you need both the skill. Okay. Who can do it? Of course, if you want to grow in the organization, you need this. Or if you are looking for a job in a better company with a better say pay package, these are required. And anybody from fresher to top level can do it. Of course, we conduct this type of training program so that you equip yourself to meet your future requirement. Okay. Where you have to do this type of upskilling is also important. Don't fall prey with pure theoretical institutes or trainer. You may have to check three aspects of training institutes, specifically a trainer. Number one, are they industrially experienced trainer? At least you have to see whether they are 20 years or more experience. Otherwise, you are going to see only theoretical aspect. Second check could be, are they certified globally? That's also one more important criterion, and they should be certified in the relevant domain which you are looking for. Third requirement is, now all these people should have analytical skill. If they don't have that skill, that's not welcome nowadays. So you have to see the combination of this three skills. And as a trainer, I possess all these three essential skills. In this regard, in the market, really there are no programs available for the procurement professional to get combined knowledge of a domain as well as the analytical knowledge. That's where we have a program called Certified Sourcing Analyst, where the module 1 will cover on effective sourcing. Second module will address advanced sourcing concept. Third module is very important for analytical application, where we are going to train people on advanced Excel. Here, possibly we are going to use a solver and scenario manager, like that. Possibly you may be using in some of the cases, because Excel is not texting application. Here you can also use it to a much advanced level. Of course, when you have huge data, Excel is not sufficient. That's where Python is going to be used. And you don't need previous knowledge on any of this tool when you take training on our organization. And what is more important is, we are going to take a live example and try to use these tools. Possibly many of our candidates, they get their own problems to solve. So if you need, any one of you, any details about this program, you can always comment so that our executive can reach. Our executive is going to give you the contact numbers, and you can always reach them. All these programs are weekend programs. All are live, online, and interactive program. These are not recorded programs, so that you can have a better interaction with the trainers. Okay. And coming to pressures or the students who are trying to opt for career in purchasing, you can also avail scholarship or internship or placement assistance once you enroll for our type of a program. Okay. So you can also visit our site to see the Google reviews from our previous participants. And here is the contact details. If you need to approach us, you can either visit our site or say hi message in any of this WhatsApp number, so that you can reach to them. Any of the participant, any queries, comments, you can type in the comments. Was this program useful to you? Can you comment, the live participants? You can also reach to me, talk to me if required. You can fix up time and discuss on your career development or any support on training or consulting. I am available. So any doubts, clarification, questions, you are welcome to type in the comments. Haranta says very useful. Thanks, Mr. Haranta. How about others? Is it useful? If you need any doubts or clarification, you are always welcome to reach me through the contact numbers which I have displayed. And thanks for participating. Have a nice evening. Bye.